Hello, welcome once again to the new session of the Premade Pro. We are continuing the neural coordination of the class 11 physiology, and today we will start from the topic the human brain. Okay, so in the brain, yesterday I have said that brain it is an organ to control and command. Organ to control and command. Okay, so it is a well protected, delicate structure that is protected by our skull, and the brain box is called the cranium cavity, and as well as it looks like a walnut structure, and it is a central information processing organ. I have told yesterday. Okay, so now I have told the three layers of our brain: the dura mater, the raconoid matter, and the pia matter. Okay, the dura matter is the outermost covering, the raconoid matter is the middle covering, and the pia matter is the inner covering. Okay, now we come to the structure that this. Okay, so this is with the skull. Okay, this is the dura mater. Dura mater, the outermost, and it is a hard layer. Outermost hard layer. Okay, the next one is the arachnoid matter. This is the arachnoid matter. Middle and webbed. So the inner matter is the pia matter. It is the pia matter. Innermost, in contact with brain. Okay, done. So it is a brain. This is a subdural space. Subdural space. And this is the subarachnoid matter. Subarachnoid space. Sometimes we see a cerebrovascular accident, the CVA, that happens in a subarachnoid space. So if a cerebrovascular accident happens in a subarachnoid space, we treat it as a most urgent and emergency. The patient will say that it's a nausea or vomiting and a tremendous pain that is being observed in the in our head. The pain will radiate from the backward side to the front side in a subarachnoid hemorrhage, and the patient may see a double vision or a blurred vision, and the slurred speech may be observed in case of a subarachnoid hemorrhage. And we, first of all, as a practitioner, you will diagnose a patient with a subarachnoid hemorrhage. If a patient says that the vomiting is not reducing even after giving the anti-vomiting medications, the vomiting is not reducing, and for that the pain is radiating from the backward side to the front side, and it is tremendous pain. Okay, the patient, the pain generally increases if the patient is looking at a bright light, that is a photophobia may comes. If a patient looks at the bright light, the pain generally gradually increases. In that case, we refer to a CT scan. A CT scan may be observed after 48 hours of interval. If we do a CT scan right now, we may do a CT scan after 48 hours to diagnose any aneurysms. If small infarction or small hemorrhage is observed, generally sudden CT scan doesn't reveal that. So a 48 hours later CT scan may be required to reveal that incident. Okay. In case in aneurysms, we may treat it either by an OT or via some medications if possible, or via OT is generally required in case of any aneurysms. Okay. So now in the subarachnoid space, we generally see the CSF is a cerebrospinal fluid. Cerebrospinal fluid. The cerebrospinal fluid generally originates from a sella turcica of the sphenoid cavity. It generally releases from the sella turcica of the sphenoid cavity. Okay. The brain actually floats in a cerebrospinal fluid. The human brain is generally 4 to 6 kilo in weight, but as it is floating in a cerebrospinal fluid, we generally observe a human brain of 960 gram to 1.4 kilo. Okay, so the parts of the brain may be written as parts of human brain. Parts of brain. There are three parts: the forebrain, the midbrain, and the hindbrain. There are the three parts of our human brain: the forebrain, the midbrain, and the hindbrain. Okay. Now, what happens? See, in the forebrain has some different divisions: the cerebrum, the hippocampus, the amygdala, the olfactory lobes, the epithalamus, the thalamus, and the hypothalamus. So epithalamus, thalamus, and hypothalamus is also known as a diencephalon. Also known as diencephalon. Okay. And in case of hindbrain, the midbrain has no division. Hindbrain, it comes in the Neet. The question generally comes from the hindbrain. The hindbrain consists of cerebellum, pons, and the medulla oblongata. These three structures generally comprises of the hindbrain. Okay. Now come to the forebrain. Okay. So forebrain, most prominent, it can be the forebrain, the frontal side of the brain. It is most prominent part of forebrain. Most prominent part of forebrain is called cerebrum. Cell bodies remains outside. Okay. Okay. So these are the cell bodies. Okay. These are myelinated axons. myelinated axons. Okay, these are called the gyri, that is the bulged, and this one is the sulcus. Groove. Okay, gyri and sulcus. Now the folds of cerebrum, it can accommodate maximum neurons. Okay, brain has the brain has outer gray matter and the inner white matter. Okay, so if the outer gray matter presence of cell bodies give it this appearance, and it is also called the myelinated axon. Okay, myelinated axon. Now note this point. The lobes of the cerebrum has several lobes of cerebrum. There are 8 lobes. Frontal, 2 lobes. Parietal, 2 lobes. Temporal, 2 lobes, and occipital, 2 lobes. Okay, so in case auditory processing area, feeling of hot, cold, pain, etc. The frontal lobe, memory, intelligence, responsible for memory, intelligence, creativity, logical reasoning, and the temporal lobe responsible for auditory processing area. Okay, the parietal lobe and the occipital lobe is responsible for visual processing area. Okay, now some important points to remember, that is this question are generally asked in the Neet. Okay, a deep cleft divides cerebrum. This question generally comes longitudinally into 2 halves, which are left and right cerebral hemisphere. This is called corpus callosum. Tract of the nerve fiber connecting both the hemisphere. So corpus callosum is called tract of nerve fiber connecting both hemispheres. Now, the cerebral cortex. The cerebral cortex. It is the outer part of the cerebrum. It has three areas. One, sensory area. Two, motor area. Three, association area. So it has three areas: sensory area, motor area, and association area. Now let us divide it. This is the sensory, this is the association, and this is the motor. Okay, in this case, sensory, motor, and association area. In this case, we see the association area is a prominent part of the cerebral cortex. It is a very prominent part of cerebral cortex. Okay. It is also the association area can also associated with memory, communication, and intersensory functions. Associated with memory, communication, and intersensory function. So intersensory function is, what is intersensory function? It is a multiple sensory inputs can be analyzed. Multiple sensory inputs can be analyzed. Okay. Now the motor area. Motor information goes. Motor information means this information. Okay. Motor information goes from here. Okay. And sensory input comes here. Sensory input comes here. Okay. So figure various areas of cerebral cortex. Okay. Now, have you understood? I don't think there is nothing to understand here because I am writing very short. As per the new NCERT, many things has been deleted. Okay. So I'll try to complete the chapter within this lecture because ज़्यादा तक खींचने तक कोई फायदा तो नहीं मिलेगा आप लोगों को. Now come to the hippocampus. Hippocampus and amygdala. It's almond shape. Every question will come from here. Every question will be completed. Every question in the upcoming examination of the Neet will be covered within this video lecture. You don't have to read the physiology because it will you will study physiology in the medical colleges. So what's the need of understanding the whole physiology in the pre-medical lectures. There's no need. Okay, just learn what you need in the examination. So hippocampus and amygdala is responsible for anger and rage. Okay, hippocampus is a conversion. Here the conversion of short-term memory and into the long-term memory happens. Inversion of short-term memory to long-term memory. Okay, now hippocampus plus amygdala equals to the limbic system, forms the limbic system. The limbic system plus the hypothalamus forms emotional brain. So what is the function of the emotional brain? It functions as the controls various aspects of human emotions like happiness, sadness, fear, anxiety. Happiness, sadness, fear, motivation, anger, pleasure, excitement. Okay, now the diencephalon thalamus plus epithalamus plus hypothalamus, thalamus plus epithalamus plus hypothalamus. The thalamus is also called the relay center of the brain. Also called the relay center. Okay. All the information go to the cerebrum and from the cerebrum has to pass through the thalamus. All the information from and to the cerebrum has to pass the thalamus. Okay, so cerebrum wraps around the thalamus. Cerebrum wraps around thalamus. The cerebrum wraps around the thalamus. Okay. Now, in the hypothalamus, question comes in the Neet. Okay. Connection between the endocrine and the neural system. It forms the connection between endocrine and neural system. Okay. It's a part of emotional brain. Has various hormones which controls growth, reproduction, thirst, hunger, etc. So thermoregulation center, it is a thermoregulation center. Now come to the midbrain. The forebrain is completed. The midbrain. Okay, it has no division. So the midbrain, it is located between thalamus oblique hypothalamus of forebrain and pons of hindbrain. Pons of hindbrain. On the dorsal means on the backward. Okay, on the dorsal side of midbrain, there are 4 swelling lobes. There are 4 swelling lobes. It is called corpora quadrigemina. It is called corpora quadrigemina. Neat. Probable question. Okay. Now, let's see a canal called cerebral aqueduct. Cerebral aqueduct or aqueduct of Sylvius. Aqueduct of Sylvius passes through midbrain that connects third and fourth ventricle. Okay. Now the hindbrain. Hindbrain. Okay. Delete a topic here. The hindbrain. I'll complete the chapter today. Okay, some few more minutes will be required. It consists of 3 parts: cerebellum, pons, and medulla. Okay, so in the medulla, it connects to the spinal cord. Connects to spinal cord. It has various centers to control heart rate, breathing rate, gastric juice secretion, and the vomiting center. So, important points to remember. Okay. Now the brain stem consists of midbrain plus pons plus the medulla. Midbrain plus pons plus medulla. The cerebellum, little brain, it is called the second largest part of brain. It has convoluted surface. It has 2 cerebral hemispheres. It controls involuntary functions. it is involved in body balancing. Now the pons. It acts like a bridge. The pons viroli, it acts like a bridge as it consists of neuron which connects to different regions of brain. The pons consists of the pneumotaxic center. Pneumotaxic center is located in the pons. Okay. So I don't think any more questions will be asked outside this lecture. And please go through this lecture. Please go through this lecture. If it is required, just view the lecture 2 to 3 times and take a note. Okay. I think no question that will come in the NEET will be outside of this lecture. Okay. It's my experience and I am saying that no questions will come outside of this lecture. If you remember it, you can do all the questions in the examination. Okay. So, good night. In the next video, I will start with our endocrine system. Okay. So, stay tuned. Please like, share and subscribe this channel. Bye-bye.